Today's message is for an audience of one. Woo! Hey, what's shaking, Warfighter Nation? Ron here with Warfighter Ranch and Isaiah 6:8. Happy Red Friday. Don't forget to remember Jesus, who deployed to heaven after the original Red Friday. Well, I had several messages to choose from to leave you with this week, but this one seemed the most pertinent for the times, and as I was perusing the pictures of my past and reminiscing a little, I was going through an album of my Kosovo tour. Many of you know I spent the first 12 years of my career in the military as an Army firefighter. I made fire chief with Task Force Falcon in Kosovo, and that was probably one of the biggest highlights of my career. Definitely one of the best times. Got to work with a lot of international troops and go through some stuff and show you guys some stuff here just now. And then I'm going to leave you with something I wrote for one soldier, one Russian paratrooper. And I can only hope and pray that my friends and family spread this message, and hopefully this message reaches out to that one soldier, because one soldier can truly make a difference. This one soldier is a reason why I am still here. In every fire station, there's always that one guy, the one guy who's a patch collector. And wherever station I worked at, I was that guy. I've got patches from fire departments and rescue units, military teams and special operations teams for hazmat and for first response from all over the world. Public, private, corporate, municipal, military. It's really amazing where our people go. Safety first. When we deployed to Kosovo in 1999, our unit was drawing down due to being scheduled for deactivation. And all of a sudden this hot mission comes up. So of course they send the three of us that were left at Fort Bragg, and they augmented us with members of my old alma mater, the 114th Engineering Detachment out of Fort Campbell. And they sent a bunch of us together to Kosovo. We got a chance to have some really unique experiences as firefighters. We were able to use interpreters and JAG, yes, JAG has a purpose, to form mutual aid agreements between our two countries. Actually, we formed a mutual aid agreement between the United States and Macedonia, and then another one between the United States and Kosovo. Worked with the Ukrainian fire chief, worked with the UN fire chief, who was actually an old deputy chief out of FDNY. So you'll see some of those patches here today. But really has a chance to take you all over the world and really do some good. It really does. It was 1999. Bill Clinton was the president of the United States, and Vladimir Putin had just been made the president of Russia. And wherever you go, firefighters are the same. They still love to pull pranks on each other. They still love to squirt each other with water. It's like a kid fest. And in Europe, they've got some really awesome fire trucks. Big toys for big boys. Now, there was a team that was sensationalized through the media that got lost in Kosovo and were actually taken as POWs. That was not us. Besides, you can't be taken POW by a coalition member, can you? Or can you? So this message goes out to that young Russian paratrooper I met 22 years ago on that cold day in November. in the Russian sector in Kosovo. I hope this message brings you peace, brother. I hope this helps you find peace for your people, and you're forever in my prayers. There's my 82nd patch from World War II. My doc got me, doc from Iraq. Those are some patches boys at FDNY sent me after I wrote them a letter from Ramadi. Some tribal patches there. I even did a stint as New Mexico Task Force 1 program director for a while. And then these are my patches from various duty stations or whatnot. My Love Me board from Kosovo, and here's the album. Here's a pin that I got from the Ukrainian fire chief. Some of our guys made the cover of the Sentinel. Had some good times in Kosovo. We got a lot of good work done. Fought a 1,200-acre forest fire with 5 men. The Superman comic book. That's another whole story. So Clocott Church, Paladins, Magnificent Seven. All my boys. And then there's the most prized patch in all my collection. Before we go any further today, I just want to point out something very unique about KFOR there. Yeah, that's Russia and Ukraine's flags next to each other. That was what was known as the Russian sector of the Multinational Brigade East. Yes, they were working together with us. Imagine that. And now, perhaps, the most important part of this message. We were brothers once and young, you and I. 22 years ago, we met on that cold November day in the Balkans, you and I. Born on opposite ends of the world, we were raised in diametrically opposing cultures of one another. We both spent decades thinking about when and where we would finally meet, you and I. And somewhere down the line, we were both crazy enough to want to learn how to jump out of airplanes, you and I. On that fateful day, I think we both learned an invaluable lesson through our chance meeting, you and I. 2 young paratroopers. We were brothers on different sides of the curtain. We simply hadn't met. But that would soon change for you and I. Trained to kill each other, we would find our mission a temporary truce between you and I. For years, our nations hid nothing regarding their disdain for one another. We definitely had a divine appointment, you and I. But it wouldn't go down like either one of us thought it would. Neither President Putin nor President Clinton were there at the time, nor any of our soldiers, just you and I. And when our hybrid team of American military advisors and civilian contractors driving 2 Pajeros took a wrong turn for a platoon outpost of the 82nd Airborne, now finding ourselves in your sector, the Russian sector of KFOR's Multinational Brigade East. And suddenly, there we were, you and I. Soon, another American paratrooper, my captain, would join me. On my knees, cross-legged, with our weapons on the deck in front of us. The bitter Balkan winds dancing through our fingers, now interlaced behind our heads. It seemed our relationship just got a bit more intimate between you and I. The tip of your rifle barrel against my forehead. I never once took my eyes from yours. Our eyes are the same color, you and I. And after hearing my captain say, "Airborne, Sergeant," for what I thought was going to be one last time in my life, in that moment, unbeknownst to me, something changed between you and I. Jerking my Gore-Tex jacket open and then over my left shoulder, I watched as the fierceness in your eyes melted into an unforced smile. Airborne? A simple question hung in that cold air between you and I. Helping us to our feet with your rifle now slung, high fives and back slaps filled the space where doubt recently had hung between you and I. Celebratory fire and vodka would flow well that day, as old world enemies met newfound friends. That's the day our rivalry died between you and I. We traded patches that day. The captain and I ripping our patches clean off our uniforms, as did you, our fellow Russian paratroopers. I gave him my 20th Engineer Brigade Airborne patch as well as my 18th Airborne Corps Combat patch for the two that you see here. If you're out there on the battlefield today, my brother, somewhere in the Ukraine, I urge you, I ask you, as a brother and a fellow paratrooper, as a fellow child of God, not to give up who you are, but to spare every life possible. Relinquish your command and arms to the Ukrainian forces and live. I know that the man who gave me these patches would never be complicit with the atrocities the world has witnessed that your leader is demanding of you and your brothers in arms. Orders that you know would have never been followed had they been given to you and I. There have been many others present, not Russians nor Americans, but brothers of the same race, the human race. I implore you to show that same grace to the Ukrainian people as you did me that day when world peace hung in the balance between you and I. My brother, whoever you are out there, I beseech you on your honor, on our honor, from that day many years ago, that glorious day when you made an impact so profound between our two nations, where love for our fellow man, simply overcame. I will never forget the day. The day you became my brother. That glorious day that was made for you and I.